What if I told you that the most underrated compact SUV in America just got a stinger sharp enough to take on the best in the world? Yeah, the Dodge Hornet. And before you scroll past thinking this is just another average crossover review, stick with me for just 30 seconds. Because what Dodge is doing with this next generation is genuinely something nobody is talking about honestly. I've driven a lot of SUVs in my time, and today we are going deep. Price, features, ownership cost, pros, cons, whether you should actually buy this thing. All of it, no fluff. Welcome to the Car Analyst, where we don't sell you a car. We help you decide if it's worth your hard-earned money. No sponsored opinions here, just honest automotive analysis from someone who actually cares whether you make a good decision. All right, let's start from the top. The Hornet nameplate has a complicated story right now, and you deserve the full truth. Dodge confirmed in January 2026 that production of the standard Hornet has ended due to the ongoing tariff situation affecting imported vehicles. The Hornet is assembled in Italy alongside its mechanical twin. The Alfa Romeo Tonale, and those government tariffs on imported cars simply made the economics unworkable. So yes, the situation is real. However, Dodge's CEO, Matt McAleer, has publicly stated he would love to see the Hornet return to the U.S. market as the tariff landscape evolves. And that's not just PR talk. There's a GLH variant that was already confirmed for production in late 2025. There are next-generation platform discussions on the table. And the Hornet's core DNA is far from dead. So when we talk about the 2026 to 27 generation in this video, we are talking about what Dodge intended this vehicle to become, the features it was rolling out, and what smart buyers need to know about the current Hornet lineup sitting in dealerships right now. Because those cars exist, they're being discounted heavily, and they represent a fascinating value proposition if you know what you're getting into. Let's talk design first, because this is where the Hornet genuinely earns some respect. The exterior takes Dodge's muscle car aggression and packages it into a compact crossover silhouette that actually looks like it belongs in that brand family. You've got the signature crosshair grille up front, flanked by sharp adaptive LED matrix headlights, a gloss black lower fascia, and aerodynamic touches like active grille shutters and a floating roof spoiler that reduce drag without looking like an afterthought. The proportions are athletic without being cartoonish. There's a blacktop edition with 20-inch forged wheels and carbon fiber package accents that genuinely looks the part of a performance SUV that costs twice the price. Dodge even introduced a Hellraisin purple paint option that is a direct nod to the brand's heritage. And honestly, it works. This is a good-looking compact SUV. The interior is equally impressive for the price point. You get a 12.3-inch digital instrument cluster paired with a 10.25-inch Uconnect touchscreen running wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. The SRT performance pages let you monitor battery status on the hybrid, track G-forces, and log lap times, which is genuinely unusual territory for a compact crossover. Augmented reality navigation projects turn-by-turn instructions onto the windshield via a heads-up display. Heated and cooled seats with Alcantara inserts, 16-color ambient lighting, 35 inches of rear legroom, and a 27.5 cubic foot cargo bay round out the cabin. It feels premium where it matters without feeling fake. Now let's talk powertrains, because this is where things get genuinely interesting. The base GT trim carries a turbocharged 2.0-liter four-cylinder engine, producing 268 horsepower and 295 pound-feet of torque. 0 to 60 happens in around 6.5 seconds. That number might sound ordinary on paper, but in the real world, especially around corners, this engine has a sharpness to it that the numbers don't fully communicate. It pulls hard through the mid-range, and the all-wheel drive system gives you confidence in conditions where other cars in this price range would have you tiptoeing. The R/T trim is where the Hornet's real personality shows up. A turbocharged 1.3-liter engine pairs with dual electric motors for a combined output of 288 horsepower and 388 pound-feet of torque. That torque figure is important. It's what makes the RT feel genuinely quick in daily traffic situations. 0 to 60 in 5.6 seconds for a compact SUV is fast, real fast. The R/T also offers EPA-estimated 33 miles of electric-only range, a combined efficiency figure around 75 mpg, and level 2 charging that fills the battery in about 2 hours. The Power Shot feature, a segment exclusive, gives you an on-demand burst of up to 30 additional horsepower for passing or track situations. It is one of those features that sounds like a gimmick on a spec sheet, and then becomes something you genuinely reach for in real driving. The driver assistance suite on the top trims includes hands-free highway assist up to 80 miles per hour, trailer tow assist for up to 2,500 pounds, and night vision pedestrian detection via an infrared camera, features you simply do not expect to find at this price point. And that brings us to price. The Hornet GT starts around $29,995 at base, and that's a meaningful drop from where the car was originally positioned. The GT list typically lands around $34,000 to $36,000 fully configured. The R-Slate A starts around $42,000 to $44,000 depending on options, and the RT Plus in full trim can push toward $48,000 before incentives. Now here's where it gets really interesting for buyers right now. Because of the production pause and the tariff situation, dealers are sitting on inventory and the discounts are aggressive. We are talking up to 6 to 8% below MSRP in many markets, with some tonale-adjacent discounts approaching 15 to 20% off. If you've been waiting for the right time to buy a Hornet, the timing right now, while inventory exists, is probably as good as it's going to get. Let's compare it against the field. The Ford Escape PHEV starts around $35,000 with 37 miles of EV range, but only 221 combined horsepower. The Hornet RSHE blows it away on power. The Hyundai Tucson PHEV is priced similarly to the Hornet and offers competitive electric range but feels noticeably softer to drive and lacks the Hornet's performance identity. The Kia Sorento PHEV is a step up in size and refinement, but costs significantly more. The Toyota RAV4 Prime at around $43,000 to $48,000 is the benchmark for plug-in hybrid reliability in this segment. Better resale value, better long-term track record, but a far more boring driving experience. If you want the most engaging, most technically interesting compact PHEV into $45,000, the Hornet RT is genuinely hard to beat on paper. On paper, though, is where we need to have a very honest conversation. Ownership cost is where the Hornet story gets complicated. The 5-year total cost of ownership sits around $59,000 when you factor in depreciation, insurance averaging about $2,595 annually. Fuel, maintenance, and loan interest. Routine maintenance is actually reasonable. Basic services run $150 to $300 per visit, and annual costs hover around $197 to $250 under normal conditions. But here's the number that should give any potential buyer pause. There is a 32% probability of the Hornet requiring a major repair within a certain ownership window, which is roughly 7.4% worse than comparable vehicles in this segment. The RT's complex plug-in hybrid powertrain and its dual-clutch transmission have generated real-world owner complaints, particularly around electrical issues, battery warning systems, and frustrating diagnostic loops where multiple dash lights illuminate simultaneously for problems that are difficult to diagnose and resolve. Some owners have reported multiple dealership visits for the same recurring issue. This is not hypothetical. It's documented in NHTSA complaint data and owner forums. The GT model is more straightforward and considerably more reliable by comparison, but it lacks the hybrid's efficiency advantage, which is a significant part of the value proposition. Insurance costs are another ownership reality. At $2,595 per year on average, the Hornet costs more to insure than many competitors in this segment, which adds up meaningfully over a 5-year ownership period. Resale value is also a question mark. The Hornet hasn't been around long enough to establish a strong depreciation track record, and the production pause will almost certainly hurt long-term resale values because buyers will be uncertain about parts availability and dealer support. So let's talk about the real pros and cons clearly and honestly. The pros are genuinely compelling. This is the most powerful plug-in hybrid compact SUV in its segment. The Power Shot feature and the 5.6 second 0 to 60 are things no competitor can match at this price. The design, inside and out, punches well above its class. The technology package, AR navigation, night vision, hands-free highway driving, SRT performance pages, reads like a $60,000 SUV's brochure. The current discounting environment means there is real value available for buyers who act on existing inventory. And if you are the kind of driver who actually enjoys driving, who finds pleasure in a car that responds to your inputs with something close to enthusiasm, the Hornet RT delivers that in a way the Toyota and Hyundai alternatives simply don't. The cons are equally real. Reliability data is genuinely below the segment average, particularly for the RT plug-in hybrid. The dual-clutch transmission can feel jerky in low-speed urban situations. The production pause creates legitimate long-term uncertainty around parts, dealer support, and resale value. The 5-year ownership cost is meaningfully higher than the segment average, and Dodge's dealer service network for a car with this level of hybrid complexity has mixed reviews. This is not a Toyota dealer network with 20 years of hybrid technician training. So should you buy one? Here is my honest opinion, and I will be direct, because that's what this channel is about. If you are a driver who genuinely loves performance, who gets real daily utility from EV range, who plans to keep the car 3 to 4 years rather than 5 to 7, and who can access the current discount pricing on existing inventory, the Hornet R/T Plus is a legitimately exciting buy. You're getting a machine that outperforms its price tag in nearly every way that matters to an enthusiast. Get the extended warranty, budget for the insurance cost, and be realistic about the fact that you are an early adopter of complex hybrid technology from a brand that is still learning this space. If you are buying based on long-term reliability, low ownership hassle, and maximum resale value, the Toyota RAV4 Prime or the Hyundai Tucson PHEV will serve you better. They're less exciting, but they're also less likely to put you in a service loaner while a technician puzzles over your dash lights. If you love the Hornet GT and want something fun, engaging, and worry-free, go with the GT trim over the RT. Simpler powertrain, better reliability profile, still far more entertaining to drive than most of its competitors. The Dodge Hornet, for all its complications, represents something genuinely valuable in the automotive landscape. A manufacturer that still believes a compact family SUV should make your heart rate go up a little. In a world full of beige appliance boxes optimized for algorithm scores and fleet contracts, that counts for something. Dodge got the fun right. They're still working on getting the reliability right. And that gap, that honest gap between those two things, is exactly what you need to weigh for yourself before you decide anything. That is the full picture. No agenda. Just the truth about a genuinely interesting machine at a genuinely interesting moment in its story. If this kind of honest, no BS breakdown is what you came here for, subscribe to the Car Analyst. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss the next deep dive. Drop your questions in the comments. I read every single one, and I'll answer the ones that deserve a real answer. And if you're cross-shopping the Hornet against something specific, let me know what it is and I'll do the comparison properly. Drive smart. See you in the next one.